Good afternoon, Mudbugs fans. Welcome to another edition of our Shreveport Mudbugs Media Luncheon. Mudbugs coming off another great weekend as they were able to obtain the sweep last weekend against the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, winning 6-1 on Friday and 5-1 on Saturday. Samo Bushler now got his league-leading 27th win on Friday. Nikolai Goich got the win on Saturday. Some of the big highlights: Drake Morris continues to be on a tear. He's got 10 points in his last 6 games. Alex Park and Ryan Austin both got 3 points in the series, and Alex Park also got honorable mention honor, so congratulations to him. Mudbugs now sit in second place in the South Division, 1 point ahead of Lone Star. The Mudbugs take on the El Paso Rhinos this Friday and Saturday. It is a 7 o'clock Mountain Time, so 8 o'clock Central Time start Friday and Saturday. Mudbugs are 6-0 against the Rhinos this season, so they look to continue that success. There's a lot of different scenarios on how the Mudbugs can get the 2 seed. Obviously, the simplest way is to win both games. Of course, if they win Friday and Lone Star loses Friday, then the Mudbugs would clinch the 2 seed. Mudbugs own the tiebreaker if the points and the wins stay the same, because the Mudbugs won the season series against the Brahmas. Here to talk about last weekend's series against Corpus Christi and this weekend series coming up against the El Paso Rhinos is Mudbugs Associate Head Coach Michael Hill.
Questions for Coach? As a coach going into the lot, you've already locked up a playoff spot. Going into the last weekend of the season, you're playing the number 7 seed, or the 7th place team. I imagine there's no better tonic to get the guys up that these games still mean a lot to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want to be at home for the first week of playoffs. It's nice to sleep in your own bed for the whole week. So that's basically the goal at hand, is to take care of business the way that we know we can.
Aside from the wins that have just come spilling forth here these last 3 or 4, 5, 6 weeks, what's something as a coach that has really pleased you about these guys, the way they perform?
I don't think it's about how they're performing. I think it's how the team is conducting itself. The leadership group has really taken over, and us as coaches feel like I haven't done a whole lot, but just kind of go through what our opponents' habits are and what their tendencies are, and the team kind of takes care of itself.
Being an analytical guy like you are, early in the season when there were some struggles and you're showing the guys videos and you're telling them, hey, this is what we need to be like to get to where we want to be. But it's not something that happens instantly, as it certainly didn't. You know, being a young coach, are you impatient? Were you impatient at all during or were you just like telling the guys you had to trust the process, so you had to do that yourself?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, like, analytically, how we weren't having the success earlier. I was just looking at numbers today, and we were somewhere around 2,265 shot attempts on the season, and only really completing on 57% of those shots. Early on in the season, it was a lot worse number. We were like 43%, and then so like the past few games, we've really amplified our shot volume with where we're shooting on the ice too. We're not perimeter. We're shooting, getting our goal opportunities in the middle of the ice area rather than on the outside. So, I mean, our guys have learned kind of how to score goals the right way, where we have to be to get those goals. So that's, I think, one thing, just developmentally, the guys they understood this is where we have to be to get the shots.
Bouncing back from adversity, it feels like you guys have done that well all year, but then to do it on Friday night, you give up the early goal, and you come right back with Gutinsky getting you guys even there. How big was that in the rest of the success over the weekend, getting that goal at that point and evening things up early?
Yeah, I think that was a big momentum swing for us, and it actually started with the power play before that, when we were possessing the puck for that whole 2-minute span, and they just did a good job at keeping the puck out of the net for that time, and their goalie did well, and then Gutinsky ended up stepping right onto the puck coming onto his tape, and he buried it, and that was a little bit of a swing for us because the momentum for their goaltending and defensive play in that first period, I think, was in their favor the way that they kind of played the game. And so I think that was a big shift for us right through that power play and beyond that.
Talk about, Drake's going to speak here in a little bit. And, I think I wrote something a couple weeks ago that he might be the most unheralded leading scorer of any team in the league. And I say that because he's not a flashy guy, but every night you look up, he's got, 2 and 3 points. He's scoring all the big goals. He leads the team in goals, points, almost has the trifecta right now.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't skate all that well. He doesn't handle the pucks well. He's not a good stick handler. But he's going to work harder than any other player on the ice. And then you don't even notice that he could handle the puck choppily or even have a not that good stride, but he's going to work harder than you, and that's how he's going to get rewarded. So that's what Drake does better than any player out there, is that he's going to make sure that he's going to outwork you. And he's lucky he's got a good big frame that he's able to move around. He does his extra reps in the weight room. I see him there every day. So he's a guy that takes care of his body as well.
You mentioned the volume of shots and smarter shots, from the beginning of the year to this year. How does he kind of epitomize? Does he kind of mirror that trend?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to where you're going to score the goals right in front of the goaltender. Looking at what we're going to see this weekend, 25 out of the last 26 goals against on Suggs have all been within 5 feet of the net or with net front traffic. So for us, that's our goal, is to create that chaos in front of the net. And he's a goaltender that's, 51 out of the last 61 shots or goals against are also scored in the lower half. So get him moving laterally, and our guys know the plan. That we give them all the material that they need to be successful. They just got to make sure they take it and utilize that in their game.
What's the biggest trend you've seen? Because you keep up that with us. What's the biggest trend from the beginning of the season to now?
We have more leaders now than we did at the start of the season. Whereas start of the season, you got 4 captains. And then from there, it becomes a whole team of leaders. So that's a big thing that has been really helping our whole motor run is everyone's hands on deck and putting in the work.
Everybody wants to be playing their best hockey at this time. The goaltending is going to be there, but the goal scoring, especially over the last month, has been fantastic. If there was one thing that you're looking at to clean up in this final regular season weekend, what would it be?
I think it's probably the defensive play, because you look at Saturday's night with Goich in net. I think we let up 3 breakaway opportunities, and 2 the night before with Bushler that they came up big on. So we got to eliminate those going forward and playing a more solid defensive game. Even though our goaltenders are taking care of the work, we shouldn't put them in that situation. We got to make sure we keep ourselves accountable defensively to do the right things to make it easier on everybody. If a forward's working back harder, it eases off the D. If the D are looking to shut down a play, it eases off the goaltender. So everyone's here to help out each other one way or another, and that's, I think, what we got to be doing here down the stretch.
As a fellow stat nerd, it's easy to geek out over some of the numbers that you give us. How much fun do you have making heat maps of shot locations that are successful, and where, if you're going back to it as a kid, where did the numbers thing come from for you?
I don't know. I've always been a mathematics guy, so the numbers kind of flow with me really well. I've always kind of wanted to know what trends are, and everything trends in numbers, so especially in the game of hockey. So I kind of find different areas of our game. I'm looking at how our D are shooting right now. Right now on the season, our D are at 48% shooting percentage of hitting the net. And it was really actually worse than that at the beginning of the year. And our forwards are at 64% hitting the net per shot. So I kind of love to use those numbers, because those numbers show success. The year that I was in Aberdeen and we won it in 2019, we had a big number on face-offs where we had 33% of our games won were off of face-off plays. So, and that was on a 47 game. So we're, 16. It was 16 goals off of face-offs that were game-winning goals. So like it just helps you break down like what such a simple thing like a face-off play or whatnot, how much that's going to help you win in the long run.
Is there anything this year that kind of was like an aha moment for you that you knew that the guys were getting, that you were trying to get across via the analytics video, the video, that it just kind of really showed up for them?
Yeah, I think it was around late November, actually around Thanksgiving time, that guys, I think, started actually understanding, like, I'm not all full of crap. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, so guys started really taking advantage of the information I was giving them and so forth. So.
You were familiar with this franchise, obviously, before you came here, and you spent plenty of years both on and off the ice in the league. Now that we're, 8 or 9 months into your time here, how's it been for you?
It's been a blast. It's been one of the most enjoyable coaching experiences that I've been a part of. My family loves it. The community is awesome. The fans are great, and I think what I really love is the way that our guys are able and willing to go out and help out the community as well, and that's that stands a lot from the leadership. Like last night, we have Coach Chris had a softball game. We had all of our guys went to the game just to support Coach Chris in the Special Olympics softball game. So that's awesome that it wasn't like anything that you had to do. Guys just showed up and were there. So it's we have a really good group of guys, and the coaching staff and all the staff all the way down from Chet Yoder down to K-Jax, Muskie, Lauren Page, everyone that's involved, Amy, that everyone's like just a big family here. We're always here at the rink together, and it makes working here so much more enjoyable and easy.
And just a quick follow-up to that, talking to Suki this week after you guys, you clinched, I guess would be the best way, it's not official yet, but the Mudbugs will have the attendance title for the 5th straight year. The work in the community obviously pays off, and that feed, not just the success on the ice, but being out in the community, I imagine, goes into those numbers that makes you number one in the league.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome to have that. That this team's getting seen more than any other team in the league, and it's just thanks to, I think, what we stand for here in the community.
What you were saying earlier, just before that question, was about how the team's come together, family. Does that give you more confidence heading into these final 2 games where you got a team that you've beaten, kind of own them a little bit, but you're not as worried about the fellas taking it easy because of the efforts and the family and the showing up for these things, that they're going to be there for each other's backs?
Yeah, our guys are always going to take care of each other's backs and everything like that. So I mean, you're always kind of wondering what's going to happen, and then you get a good feel after a first period of a game too. So like our guys either need a pick me up or they need encouragement, and sometimes a little bit of both. But I know our guys they know they need to put in the work the right way every single game, and when they do, no one's going to touch them.
Being around NHL playoff hockey as much as you have, what in your experience have you seen that creates a good playoff hockey team?
Really, it's a team that's able to try to shut other teams down defensively. I mean, you want to try to hold teams out of scoring, and let your guys take care of that offense ability, give them the ability to be creative and let them do their own thing, and defensively stay to the structure. And like when I was with Aberdeen, we won the Robertson Cup in 2019. It was a 2-1 hockey game, and then so we're able to hold them to 1 goal. And then when Shreveport played us in the championship game, it was a 3-2 hockey game with an empty netter, so they held us to 2 goals, and we were a really big scoring team that year. So, I mean, if you're able to hold teams out of that whole offensive game, then I think you're going to do well in the playoffs.
Math is something that generally you either get or you don't get. It's hard to teach somebody math. What player gets you immediately when you bring out these stats that you're like, hey man, that's pretty awesome? And what player do you sort of have to go a different route to get the numbers through?
I'd probably have to say maybe Danziger gets the numbers. He's a smart kid. And the guys that don't get the numbers, maybe they don't get them, but they have a work ethic that gets them through. Like you look at Drake Morse is a smart kid, but I don't know how his math skills are.
Are there experiences that you can take from that, I guess it was 2021 season, where you guys had that historic run in Aberdeen, and you get down to Blaine, and it comes down to one game and you don't get it done. Are there any experiences that you personally can take from having that much success all year, but at the end of the day, you don't have a championship? Are there any experiences that you can take and use them to your advantage here now?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been in 8 national championship games, only won 3 of them as a player and a coach. So, I mean, like you remember the losses a little bit more than the wins, I would think, because all those losses kind of burn in you a little bit longer, and that's something that you want to feed off of, because when you win, you kind of forget all the bad that happened, and when you lose, it's what was there any good? What good was there? And like this bad is this like a burning sensation. Like, and I've told the guys there's 2 types of players: those who hate to lose and those who love to win. And you got to be a guy that hates to lose, because if you hate to lose, there's that burning fire in you that you don't want to feel. And so if you're doing that, if you hate to lose, you're going to do whatever it takes not to have that feeling.
Any more questions for Coach?
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Before we move on to our player portion of today's Mudbugs Media Lunch, I want to remind Mudbugs fans playoff packs are due April 13th, so that is the deadline. Get those in. Of course, ensure yourself a ticket to all our Bugs home playoff games here at Georges Pond in Hirsch Coliseum. Moving on in our player portion of today's Mudbugs Media Luncheon, he's the team leader in points. He's got 48, 20 goals. It's tied with Garrett Steele for the most on the team. 20 goals, 28 assists. He's having a great year. Second-year Mudbugs forward, Drake Morse.
Thanks, Chet.
Questions for Drake? Drake, to try and make up for that math question, I know you didn't like hearing that answer. I got some math that you're certainly going to like. Last year, you played a lot. You played 48 games.
Yep.
6 goals. This year, 20. Last year, 9 assists. This year, 28. No game-winning goals last year. 5 this year. -6 last year, +18 this year.
Yep.
In 1 year, what changed for you?
Just confidence. I mean, like, you can ask anybody on the ice if they get any type of confidence, they're automatically just a little bit better. And then, like, all the guys are buying into the system. Like, last year we struggled for way longer than we did like this year, and we just bought in quicker, and it's a lot easier to play when everyone on the ice wants to be out there.
When you see video from last year comparing to this year, do you see a big difference in just your play?
I think when I have the puck, yeah. Last year I loved the hit. I loved go on the forecheck and stuff. I think this year I'm a little bit more poised, and I still go out and I'll hit somebody and do the dirty stuff, but like it's just executing this year. Last year I wasn't putting the puck in the back of the net, but this year I can. It's streaky. It's hockey,
You talked about the confidence. At what point did you realize this was going to be a different year inside?
I think from training camp, I just felt so much better. Like I trained really hard over the summer because it was my last year. I wanted to do as much as I can to go play college hockey, and from training camp, that's when I knew.
After last year's playoff exit, how much of that is motivation once you get into the postseason this year?
Oh, immediately after the game, like I remember it was me, Miller, in Hato, and we were sitting on the bench just out on the ice while everyone left, and we were like, this isn't going to happen again next year. Like, we're going to make sure that it doesn't. So it's right from the start, right from last year's end of the season.
What is it like having a guy like Coach Hilly who is so deep into the numbers, and they all tell a story, and how much has he meant to this team this year?
It's been great. I mean, like every single game, we get like an in detail, like little thing of like what each goaltender's weaknesses are, or strengths. Helps everyone now. We got video all the time. Like we have like every type of coach on this team, and I think it just works really well with works really well with our team.
Is there one statistic, one piece of analytics that kind of you look at and go, okay, that really makes sense to me. I'm going to pay a lot of attention to this. If I do this, I'm going to have success.
I think whenever he brings up the line rushes, like teams love line rushes and stuff, it really makes the guys focus on like, okay, we need to shut them down with that, and that'll give us 50% chance, like higher, of winning the game. Just bringing in a little statistics there for you.
Do you like being a guy that when people wake up at after a weekend series that, dang, Drake had 3 goals and 3 assists this weekend? Do you like being a guy that is sort of under the radar, but in the end you're producing as much or more than anybody?
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of under the radar like my whole life, so like it doesn't really bother me at all. I'm just playing hockey, and I just want my team to win, so that's all.
When did you feel that the leadership really started?
I think like Hilly said, right around like November, like right when we were like we had 1 weekend off right before Thanksgiving, I think, and right when we came back from that, the guys started to buy in a little bit more. It just, you could tell the energy changed. We had a little book that Hilly gave us on that to read when we went home. It's called Ride the Bus, right? Sorry. Energy Bus. And we all had to read that, and I think reading that really stuck with everyone. So.
How weird is it going into your final regular season series of junior hockey? What are the emotions? Have they set in yet?
I've noticed it. I don't think they've set in yet. I'm just, like I said, I'm not expecting for our season to end early. I'm expecting to have a month and a half left of hockey to play, so I'm just ready to go.
You got to go into this weekend obviously thinking you need 2 wins to hold on to the number 2 spot.
Yeah.
How do you kind of take that mentality and make sure it applies on the ice so that you do get those 2 wins?
This weekend's it's not any different. The weekend is, we're going out here like it's, whether it's the last games of our regular season or the middle or the beginning, like we just go out and do the same thing every single time. Like we're not going to work hard or not work as hard. We're just going to play our game. So.
I'm not saying Hilly was right, but if math wasn't your best subject in school, what is your specialty?
I'd probably go, I think I like science a lot. Math was definitely not one of my best subjects in school, so he was right with that one, but science was pretty cool, yeah.
Any more questions for Draco? Thanks, Draco.
Yep.
Moving on to our player portion of today's Mudbugs Media Luncheon, he also had another great weekend. Last weekend on Friday, he had a goal and an assist. He had 3 assists on Saturday. He's having a great year on the blue line. First-year Mudbugs defenseman, Alex Park.
Thanks, Chet.
Yep. Questions for Alex?
As this team has gotten so hot, what has it been like finding your role? Was there a moment in the season where you felt like you really settled into Mudbugs hockey and what they expected of you?
Yeah, I think the coaches bring you in because obviously they see something in you. It was just kind of being able to talk with them and knowing what they want to get out of you and how you can contribute to the team. So I'd say probably around November-ish when we got back from the break, just being home, being able to just think about hockey itself and think about the game and what I need to do. So I think ever since we came back from that weekend off.
This system allows blue liners to have success offensively, obviously, but we've heard it since this franchise began, even when they were professional. It's playing the Mudbug way. It's defense first, but at the same time, it's going to give you offensive opportunities. How long did it take you to learn that?
I don't know. I think it's just something that took getting adjusted to the league. Obviously, being in the NOL, especially down south, it's a pretty defensive, hard-hitting division. So I think just taking care of your own end and making sure that you do what you can defensively, know your role, know your job, and you'll get rewarded in the O zone.
I know Hilly could probably tell us what the record is the last 10 games, 15 games, 20, 25, or whatever. But there had to be a point in the season where there was some doubt, and then it clicked over to confidence, and you guys started playing a lot better hockey. Wins started. You kind of remember maybe personally, maybe with the team, where it went from we may be okay, where we're really pretty good hockey.
I don't know if I could ever say we had doubt in each other. I think we knew that we had a special team and we knew that what we were capable of and our potential. So I think just after we came back from that weekend off in November and we had that Thanksgiving at Hilly's house and all the boys were able to bond together, sit down, have a really good meal. And I think just from there we realized we were just one big family and everything we do for each other. So I think kind of there it's when it switched.
Being a first-year guy, this is obviously your first playoff experience at this level. Is that any more exciting? Is that another new experience for you, or is it just kind of another weekend?
Yeah, so obviously playoff hockey is really exciting. There is a lot more to play for. You got the cup, but you can't let it change how you play your game. We made it this far for a reason by how we play, so we just got to stay consistent and keep on working hard.
How tough has it been because the goal is to make the playoffs and win a cup, obviously. Now, you guys clinched that. You had that spot pretty much clinched for a while, but officially a couple weekends ago. Is it hard, especially being so young, not to look forward to the playoffs, knowing there still is 2 games left that could be must-win games to get that 2 seed?
Yeah, obviously it's excited. You're ready for the little bigger picture there to go try and win, but we still got a lot to play for in these last 2 games. It's not going to be given to us, and there's a lot at stake, so I think we're keeping our heads straight and just getting ready for this weekend.
What kind of motivation do the guys who are aging out serve? For you guys who have hockey left after this year, what kind of motivation do they serve during this playoff run?
Yeah, obviously, with guys that are aging out, it's their last year at juniors, so a lot of it's if you got doubt or you're not willing to do it for yourself, make sure you do it for the guy that doesn't have that chance to go play junior again next year, because it's bigger than just yourself. You got to play for your teammates also.
How neat was it? I'm sure you heard that CJ won a NCAA championship this week, former Mudbug. I mean, how neat is that to see that? Obviously you want your career to go beyond here, but Mudbugs have been drafted in the NHL and won that national championships.
Yeah, obviously it just kind of goes to show the track record that the organization has and how good they are at developing players. And numbers like that don't lie, so it's pretty cool to see.
What is it like being your age and being in this environment? I mean, because when I first started covering this, it was so odd to me how kids like you are basically professionals at this age when most of us are in high school. I mean, what has that been like for you, this life experience, just coming so far away from home, answering media questions? I mean, that's just got to be wild.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty different. I think we get an experience that a lot of maybe other kids don't get growing up. I think a lot of it has to do with our family, being able to support us and getting us this far. But a lot of it, is coming from our own hard work getting here. So I think we're pretty proud of ourselves, and it is really cool though. I can't disagree with that.
What role did the pandemic play in your hockey career? Especially being in Canada, where it was, heck, it was as tight or tighter than here. But it has affected you. Or at an age where it could affect what you were going to do long term. What was that time like? And now that we're 2 years removed from it, how did it pay off?
Yeah, it was definitely, I don't know if I'd say scary time, but confusing, because you didn't know where you were going to end up. A lot of the teams weren't able to hold training camps and stuff. A lot of rinks were closed, so it was more just there was a chance to get better the way I saw it, because a lot of people took that break off and just sat at home, sat on the couch, just not doing much. But you can also get better at your own house, in the gym. There's a lot of stuff you could have done, and I think it was a big separation for the guys that wanted to pursue the sport and those that just wanted to kind of move on from it.
One more. What was the best sweater you guys wore this year?
Oh, good question. I love our 318s, the alternates. I think those are pretty sweet.
Are you guys going to
Might
have
be my
that?
favorite.
I'm sort of leading into that. Are you guys going to have a say on which uniforms you wear in the this season?
Lauren's shaking her head at me, so no, I don't think so. I think Savvy kind of gets he gets his input on that, so that might be a question for him.
If you had a choice at home.
I know. I have to check the stats. What one's our luckiest jersey? What one's got the most? What we got the most wins in?
What was it like your first time when you came out there and saw it in the stands? Did you ever play in front of that thing?
Not a crowd like that. No. When I got drafted and I was talking to Coach Soupy on the phone before the season, he talked about the fan base and the crowds and stuff. And obviously, it's one thing to hear it, but to come and experience it, it's pretty amazing. Just hearing the crowd roar, it really gets you fired up.
Following up on that, do you want to make a pitch to get as many people in the barn for the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to. Make sure you come support the Bugs. We're making a big playoff push, and it's going to be exciting hockey. So come watch George's Pond.
Very good. Any more questions for Alex? Thanks, Marcy.
Thank you.
We hope you guys tune in this Friday. Once again, Mudbugs will be on the road at El Paso, 8 o'clock Central Time. So be sure to tune in. Until next time, claws up.